Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of HarlequinCasts Dawn of War 2 Retribution. And I have an awesome show for you today, because not only is this going to be a really cool 1 versus 1, but today is going to be the first in a series of shows where I just kind of interview and hang out with the developers. So with me today, directly from Relic, is Mr. Clint Tasker, but you probably know him better as Tasker. Mr. Tasker, how are you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing well. And straight off the bat, I have to apologize because my home connection is a little bit janky, so I may fade in and out late, like I may lag a little bit. But that's just how dedicated I am. I'm here on a Sunday afternoon casting with you for all our community members and fans.
We're going to get some overtime. Oh, man. And by the way, while we were chit-chatting before we started this game, you shared an awesome fact with me that I thought everyone just needs to hear. You made this map. You totally made this map. Calderis,
well, I designed this map. I did not do the art, but I did place objects and such, yes.
Nice. And so you built it. How did you go about building that? Because I know it's available in 2 and 4 player versions and stuff.
Yeah, I originally designed this map for Free For All a long time ago while we were developing Chaos Rising. I was trying to sell Free For All as an idea, and so I came up with this idea where you could make this map, and if you make it symmetrical in all directions like a pie, you can essentially divide it into quadrants, and you'll have a very balanced Free For All map. And then you can it does a little bit of cost savings because it takes a lot of time and effort to art a map in Dawn of War 2 because it's very intense and takes a lot of skill. And so we tried to kind of divide it a little bit. So I would design the 6-player map, and then I would cut it down to a 4-player map and cut it down to a 2-player map. And so we art the one version, and then we can kind of just make a map for all game modes.
That's awesome. I love that. So super fun fact, by the way, you have Tasker to thank for many of your favorite maps. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this started, and I'll do a little quick countdown here. So 3, 2, 1, click. All right, and we are on to this game. So, ladies and gentlemen, you definitely recognize these players. Over here in the northern position, playing as the Force Commander for the Space Marines, we have Mr. Texaneous, and his opponent today on the other side of the map is going to be Choko Bambus, playing as the War Boss for the Orcs. So, it's kind of interesting here, actually, because Choko usually plays as the Warp Spider Exarch, and Texaneous usually plays as the War Boss for the Orcs. So, a little bit of just kind of playing around here. So, I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what they're going to do a little bit differently here.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have someone you want to win?
Man, you know, actually, these guys are 2 of my favorite players, honestly. Oh, you're making me choose between my
You have to stay impartial?
Yeah, I know. Look at that. Yeah, well, actually, they're both awesome, and for anyone who missed the pre-release event, both of these guys were involved in that. I really enjoy them. Choko has more of a sort of like kind of unpredictable kind of creative play style, whereas Texaneous tends to be straightforward and just solid play. So, but I'm a lot less familiar with how Choko plays as War Boss, because I usually see him blinking around and being all like passive aggressive as the Eldar.
I love Space Marines, and they've always kind of been considered an underdog, so I love rooting for them.
Yeah, and Texaneous, I mean, he's not building a second unit here, so I think he's going to be going for a second tactical squad, which seems to be like a little slow opening, considering the fact that he's already kind of breaking the mold by kind of going for the Force Commander, which I know is not chosen very often. And it looks like
the 2-tac opening is a little bit slower, and it's less popular because you definitely have to give up map control early game because you really only have that 1 scout squad to go cap. And it is hard to hold off the enemy army with that kind of composition, but tax scales so well in this game, and so if you can keep them alive, if you can kind of nickel and dime down his troops and level up your tax, it will pay off in the late game.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I'm kind of curious about this too. It looks like maybe Choko guessing that Tex, you know, because Tex has been pretty public about his love of this build order, even though it's kind of slow. And you can see him now getting a second tactical squad. I'm kind of wondering if Choko isn't trying to call him on his bluff, because you can see he's moving his entire army across the northern side of the map. He's got both shooter squads, one of them upgraded with the big shooter, and his slugger boy is kind of following along. And I'm kind of wondering, yeah, go.
This is a really popular and standard build from the Orcs. What they'll do is you can get the 2 shooters and the slug out really fast, and essentially if you just push in this direction on this map towards his power, you can, if he's invested in power way too early, then you can either kill it, or you can do what he's doing now and just capture it. And so without this power point, it's going to be hard for Tex to build power.
Yeah, and it looks like he went ahead and upgraded the power node on the opposite side of the map just kind of in response. But I've definitely seen exactly what you were talking about before. And wow, check out that war boss already getting his angry bits and just angrily charging the hell on out of there. Angry bits, I think, is just one of those upgrades I always see on a war boss. I think you pretty much always have to get it.
Yeah, it was an answer to him being highly immobile before. Like, he was just very slow, and he wasn't able to crush objects before. And so he really needed an upgrade that gives him mobility, so that's what that one is for.
Gotcha. Yeah, it kind of makes a lot of sense here. Just kind of a lot of shooting going on in the middle right now. You can see these tacks kind of getting into some forced melee right now. Shooter Boys kind of backing out, but not fully retreating yet. And already we saw that Force Commander getting quite a beating. He kind of got shot down by the Shooter Boys earlier on, and now he's just kind of in a full retreat. So, but oddly enough, with all we're saying about Tex having kind of a slow opening here, oh, and there's that charge again, just trying to catch up. Tex is triple capping right now, which is surprising.
Yeah, the orcs got bogged down fighting, and meanwhile Tex's scouts and his tacks have been back capping the map, so he still has map control, even though he's constantly getting pushed off. And here, the Sluggas really don't want to fight one-on-one with tacks and shotgun scouts. They'll just get completely destroyed, so they're going to retreat. Yeah, the shotguns have got a lot of damage in close range there, and the tacks are surprisingly tough in melee. I remember that tacks are great in melee, and Sluggas unupgraded really are fragile still, so attack can almost fight them straight up one-on-one in melee.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Looks like Tex just finally getting his triple generators up in the north there. And now we see the triple cap going the opposite direction as well, because of course Tex had to back out of there with all of his units. So.
I find Choko's build a little bit strange, because right now he's going for Ludas.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
If I saw double attacks on the field, I would go straight for Storm Boys, because there's really not much that will deal with them other than a shotgun scouts.
Yeah, and even in the chat earlier, I think Tex was saying, "Oh, so you're going for Storm Boys, basically," because Tex knew that Choko knew his build. So I've never really liked Ludas, honestly. I've always found, if you really need suppression, I like Shooter Boys better, just for that kind of spot suppression for a little bit of red.
Well, they can, but the problem when you use big shooters for their suppression, they don't actually do any damage while they're doing the suppressive fire. So you really do decrease your DPS when you are doing that. So what you can do is you can plant Ludas behind and then have Shooters actually doing their DPS.
Gotcha. Well, it looks like we get to see this Luda squad here in the center right now, although unfortunately it's just kind of holding down that Force Commander. It looks like those tacks were able to get away from there, and Force Commander gonna go ahead and retreat.
Yeah, it looks like Choko's just going to control the middle of the map here. He's got his Sluggas over on the side taking down that activated power node. But I think Tex just put that up early so that when Choko took his early power node, he would have a little bit of extra power and he couldn't get back capped as easily. So losing this isn't a huge deal. Yeah,
just a little bit of money there, but not too bad. Scouts moving back out again using that shotgun. Gonna see a blast here soon, I'd imagine. Boom! Yep, there it goes. But now they're going to have to kind of back away as soon as these guys get up, I'd imagine.
Looks like Tex is in a great spot, though, now, because he has managed to hold on with very few units in Tier 1, and now he has a pretty good lead going into Tier 2, where Space Marine really starts to shine.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious if he's going to be going for, like, Razorback right away, something like that, maybe? I don't know.
Razorback is a great unit to go for when you're in the tech lead, because once it hits the field, it typically has no counter. And you can do a lot of pushing and cap the map with it. And then even once a counter comes out for it, it's rather quick, so as long as you micro really carefully, you can keep it alive.
Nice. Taking a look around here, we'll see no real upgrades. Oh, there we go. Chainsword and Storm Shield being upgraded right now for the Force Commander, and it looks like Choko's still just sitting tight with his angry bits there.
Yeah, the Storm Shields are I think it's a pretty good upgrade, but it's rather unpopular with Force Commander players, so it'll be interesting to see what he does with it.
Yeah, I almost never see it. It seems, I mean, it's a nice little defensive thing, but I honestly never see it, so that's kind of curious.
It is a little bit counterintuitive because the Force Commander is a melee hero, but in order to really use defend, you have to stay back with your attacks. So it takes you do have to sacrifice the melee of the Force Commander typically to get the most out of it.
kind of weird there. And Texaneous going for the Devastator Plasma Cannon team right off the bat, right as we see the War Truck coming out as well for Choko. So perhaps he's just kind of making a called shot here and kind of, I mean, these two players know each other really well, so I'd imagine there's quite a bit of metagame going on right now in terms of what they expect the other player to be doing.
Well, just from what's on the field, a Plasma Dev is a really good decision because you have Ludus and you have Shooters, and there's really no melee or anything else. So as long as you can keep the War Boss off your Plasma Dev, you can have them do significant damage.
Gotcha, so just using that just to knock back the groups of orcs who are otherwise standing still firing back at you. Alright, that works out pretty well. I buy that.